100 days ago, I turned this boring enclosure into a gecko paradise. It went from barren lonely to thriving with love. But I didn't just make one ecosystem, I made 3. Before I begin, I need to move Jack and Sally into the same enclosure and pray that it is breeding season. The goal is to make a big crested gecko family without running into any problems. But to do this, we must go back to the beginning. Once Jack was in the same tank as Sally, I began to tear down his tank so we can start with a blank slate. The idea is to have a jungle treetop canopy full of places to hide with a little bitty pond on the forest floor. Simple yet unique. To start, I added a drainage layer. This will keep the water from saturating the soil. I began to fill it up with my top secret soil mixture. I then carefully picked out a spot to put my mini pond.
That'll work.
Now it's time to build the canopy. So I went to my trusty wood pile, but the branch that was already in here worked best. Now I have an idea where to put the plant pots. So I cut this piece of foam to fit and made it look like it actually belongs in a jungle. Once the background was in place, I added the plants. Now this looks good, but it's missing something. It needs a place for isopods and crickets to hide. Although they are food, it would be neat to see them breed and reproduce, just like a vending machine for my gecko.
G4 looks good.
I'm going with the blue isopods as they will be eaten and I can easily find them in my backyard. They also reproduce really fast. We're also going to need some springtails, because why not? I don't like mold, and I'm pretty sure Jack doesn't like mold either.
Nope.
But paying for springtails is for suckers. So we put this piece of fruit under this rock, and in a couple of hours, there should be springtails everywhere. Now, I've never done this before. I just made it up, so we are all going to learn something new today. And look at that. Guys, it did not work. But luckily I had some from 2018 that were still alive, so I'm gonna use them. Now Jack likes to eat his crickets, but he also likes fruit, so let's make him a cricket smoothie. Are you guys ready for the merry-go-round? I'm just kidding, somebody else already did this in a warehouse far away. All you have to do is add water and mix. Now that Jack's tank is complete, it was time to add him in. And would you look at that? He loves the place. The fact that he's not moving at all means he is super happy. But he's not gonna make a family here all by himself. So I brought in Sally over for a date night. And look at that, she loves the place too. We are one step closer to creating a big happy gecko family. But within 10 minutes of being together, I noticed they got into a wrestling match.
Don't move and he will not see us.
This was the WWE of geckos, but don't worry, they are not hurting each other. This is more of a happy wrestling. Then Jack tapped out and left Sally all by herself to go find food. While Sally was on her date night, I quickly gave her place a makeover. Although Jack and Sally get along, at the end of the day, she wants her own place, he wants his own place, but most importantly, she needs a safe place to lay her eggs, so I made her this. And next door is the security guard. This is Kamala. She's making sure this is a safe neighborhood. All of this, and it's only day 5. Now that Sally's tank is complete, we are going to put both of them inside until Sally starts laying eggs. This is to increase the chances of having fertile eggs. Now there is nothing wrong with keeping your geckos together year round, but Jack likes to wrestle every day, and that's exhausting for Sally. And our goal is creating a happy gecko family, not a grumpy one on the verge of divorce.
So, I guess I'll get the kids on the weekends.
Therefore, separating Jack later on will accomplish this goal. And so I don't feel like a kid on Easter looking for butt nuggets, I'm gonna place some rocks here in the open areas. This way Sally has no choice but to lay her eggs under this log, where I can easily check on them. Now once she lays her eggs, we will build a homemade incubator. I'm not about to fart out hundreds of dollars just to buy one on Amazon, where the review says you're better off setting your money on fire. But that's later on in this video, because right now, I have an issue with Jack's tank that needs to be fixed immediately. You see, when I went to move Jack and Sally into their new home, I noticed they were missing. I checked everywhere, including the animal room, in case they made a great escape. It was impossible they could dig their way out, as the whole tank was glass. so Shawshank Redemption was out of the question. But the lid wasn't glass. Maybe I left it unlocked. I quickly checked, and on one side, there it was, unlocked. My fear was becoming a reality, and right as I was about to assemble a search party, the background moved. At the top of the foam, there was a groove, and they managed to slip behind it. Well, that was a close call, but now it needs to be addressed. This expanding foam should do the trick. Once the tank, was secure, I focused on checking for eggs every single day. This may seem silly, but the last time she laid eggs, I was on vacation for a week. And when I came home, I found them smashed and growing mold. And I don't want to hatch some Hills Have Eyes Jeffrey Dahmer geckos. No. I want Chris Hemsworth baby Thor geckos. And if we get 2 babies, I'll name them Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. But until then, I'll keep checking. It's day 20 and I still haven't found any eggs, but it does appear that Sally has been coming in here and laying down. I think it's just too small for her, so time for an upgrade. This one's bigger and it has a lid for easy access. It also matches the color scheme of this tank. I'm going to fill it with damp sphagnum moss and cross my fingers that this time it works. But look at this. My plan to get the insects to reproduce is working. The crickets are laying eggs, the isopods have little babies, and the mealworms, well, they're turning into beetles. All of this gives me hope that this could be a self-sustaining ecosystem over time. It was just missing one element though. Rain. This will keep the plants and insects alive, as well as provide the right humidity for my geckos during shedding and reproduction periods. And now, we wait. Alright guys, this is a big day. So for about 70 days, I've been checking for eggs in here and haven't been able to find a single one. Every 2 days, I check in there. Then I noticed this back here. There is a nest of eggs back here. All right, looks like we got 3 eggs, and they look healthy. They're all plump. Oh, calm down, Kamala. Nobody's bothering you. All right, let's get them in the incubator. This incubator is just a small plastic piece of Tupperware with holes in the side for ventilation. I'm gonna fill it halfway up with incubation substrate. I personally prefer Pangea Hatch. I'll leave a link to this down below. It works amazing, guys. You just soak it in hot water for 10 minutes and then drain the water out. While we wait, I'm gonna check to see if these eggs are fertile. It's hard to see right away, but here you can see some red veins when I zoom in. This means that there are baby geckos inside this egg. Now I carefully place the eggs inside the exact way I found them. I put a dot on the top so I know which way was up. And now we close it up. This will hold in the humidity just in case. In the event it gets dry, you can plug these holes right here with some tape. Then I place this somewhere out of the sun with the temperature gauge and we wait 70 days. 10 days later, and I got 2 eggs that have already hatched. I also found another 2 eggs in the tank. That's 70 days looking for eggs. She must have laid these 2 60 days ago, and I just could never find them. Here are the original 3, but I need to make the babies a tank and fast. This is a 10-gallon vertical tank, and this is what's going in it. I'm gonna start with a brick of dirt. Apparently, you can just add water and this thing grows. Look, Ma, I'm growing dirt. Once my dirt grew, I added a plant for the hiding place with a basking rock, climbing tree, and a water dish. Before I can add the babies, it needs isopods so I don't have a mold outbreak. These will also be food. The tank is now complete, so I set out some gecko food and introduced them to their new home. They quickly jumped onto the climbing tree and started exploring. Here, you can see this one is almost done shedding for its very first time. But the one in the back is absolutely amazing. Just look at how red it is with the white little spots. Within an hour, they began to practice climbing. This is a crucial skill if they want to learn hunting and evading predators. And they need a lot more practice. This isopod was worried and ran over to help.
Hey, you okay? Yeah? Okie doke.
I decided to film a time lapse to see if they were eating, but they seemed more interested in exploring. I'm going to give them a couple of days without the camera so I don't stress them out. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Stormbreaker and Mjolnir, the prodigies of my crested gecko army. But wait! There was 3 more eggs, and one of them could be a very rare gecko. I just know it could. I guess we'll have to wait and see.